When you're launching a product on Amazon, it's sometimes tricky to get everything correct. In this video, I'm going to give you the full guide on what I recommend in 2020 to launch a product on Amazon.com. My name is Stephen Pope, and I'm the founder of My Amazon Guide. So this is going to be a little bit of a conversation, some interjection of ideas and philosophy, and then some very, very specifics. This video will be tailored to serious product launches, so it won't be tailored to somebody who's just going to invest a couple $100 and see what happens. That's not what this is going to be about. It's going to be more about, like, how do I make my listing get to page 1 on Amazon and just dominate? That's what I'm going to focus on. And one of the most important things you do is spend money on advertising when you're launching a product on Amazon. So if you want to be budgeting for this strategy, what I recommend you do is, in your first 30 to 60 days selling the product on Amazon, I would recommend you spend somewhere between $3,000 to $10,000 in Amazon-specific advertising. And more likely than not, somewhere in the middle of that range, probably an average of $6,000 to $7,000. But the reason why I gave a wide range on this, anywhere from $3,000 to $10,000, is because it really depends on the type of product that you're dealing with, the category, the competition, the bid rates, and your selling price of the item. So it's a little difficult to give a one-size-fits-all on that typical type of budget. So let's just run kind of in the middle of the pack there and say we're going to run $6,000 in ads in the first 30 to 60 days on Amazon PPC for one single SKU. And then I also recommend focusing on an external ad budget as well. So when you first launch an item on Amazon, there's a 2-week honeymoon period. Not a lot of data has been released on this subject. There's probably a lot of philosophical debate on whether it's an actual 2-week honeymoon period, but it very much, there's a large consensus in the selling community that honeymoon period exists. So what do I mean by a 2-week honeymoon period when you first launch an item on Amazon? It's when you first launch, if you prove to Amazon that this is a serious item and it generates lots of buzz, they will leapfrog your product over other competitors into high-ranking SEO keywords. So if you think about it this way, if I had an item that's been on Amazon's catalog for 1 year, and let's say the average unit counts in sales was like 10 units a month, and all of a sudden I decided, hey, I'm going to pay attention to this item more, I'm going to spend a lot of advertising money and be a lot more serious. Well, if you started doing 100 units in sales a month, up from 10, your keyword rankings probably wouldn't adjust that much. They would be very slow to adjust. And that's because Amazon's algorithm has been trained that you're a low velocity item. Whereas let's say you launched that item today and you came out of the gate at 100 units per month. The item that started that way to begin with would have way better keyword rankings. The velocity would probably spike further and would accelerate further in month 2. And it would probably be more like 200 to 300 units in month 2, with no other changes between those two explanations. The guy that was there for a year and started ramping versus the new product that just came out of the gate strong. It's like, if you look at a horse race, so to speak, and the horse that leaves the gate first is the one everybody's eyes on. That's very much what I'm talking about here. So because of that, it behooves you to spend more money in the launch of your item than at any other point in time when you launch an item on Amazon. So focus your heavy ad spend in the first 14 days. And it's difficult to do that with just Amazon PPC. You're going to have to use an external opportunity of one kind or another. I do not have a secret sauce on what external traffic is the best to use today. And that's because every 60 days it seems to change. I used to be a proponent of viral launch and many other viral launch-like tools. However, their value has diminished greatly from the previous launch strategies. And that's when you would go give away 300 products over the course of 2 weeks, and it would jettison your rankings. Those kinds of tools don't work as well now, and it's because once they become widely adopted by the selling community, Amazon tends to crack down on them because they're kind of gaming the system a little bit. So what I recommend instead is go ahead and buy some Google AdWords traffic and some Facebook traffic. And so I mentioned, $6,000 on Amazon PPC in that first 30 to 60 days. Set aside another $2,000 to $4,000 in Facebook and ads on Google. The ad dollars will go not as far on those platforms. They're more effective on Amazon. But sometimes training the algorithm that there's external traffic coming to the platform to begin with will jettison your rankings more quickly in the first 7 days. So if you launch an item in Amazon ads and you're struggling to get impressions to begin with, it's because the algorithm's not paying enough attention to the item. Also, one of the most critical mistakes that most people make when they set up a new campaign ad for a new item on Amazon, they forget to change the bid strategy from up and down or down only to fixed bids. And on the screen now, you can see what I'm talking about. Here's a campaign bidding strategy setup. Your default is down only. Well, if you have an item that has 0 sales on Amazon today, and you have a down only bidding function, the amount of impressions you're going to get on that campaign are going to be super small. You need to change it over to fixed bids and put in a really high fixed bid number. You might also want to consider upping your top of search page percentage, but don't go crazy with this. This should be like 100% bid adjustment, not like a 400 or 500% bid adjustment. A lot of times people make that mistake. It's not a good method. The top of search ad, if we go over to Amazon.com, and let's just type in apple slicer, right? So the top of search ad will show up at the top right here. One of these 4 ad slots is where that's going to make you propel to. Bidding for the top of search does not work for a typical standard widget item. It works better for niche items or something that has less competition. Because selling a widget with high bids is usually going to lead into a low margin issue or a lack of profitability. And my clients have been pushing us as an agency at My Amazon Guy to help them with a pathway to profitability of late. So we're we very much have been cognizant of this question of late. If you are struggling with profitability on Amazon today, it very much behooves you to bring in an expert to audit your fees, audit your advertising and your traffic and your logistics to try and figure out where those problems are. I don't want to go down that rabbit hole on this video because I want to keep tailored over to how to launch your product. But if you do have a profitability issue and you have a question, just head over to myamazonguy.com and contact us, and we'll help you address that. All right, so spend $6,000 on Amazon ads first 30 to 60, 90 days. First 30 to 60 days. Spend $2,000 on Facebook ads, $2,000 on Google ads in the first 14 days. And then shut those campaigns off. They are not good campaigns to keep on 24/7. And the reason behind that is because tracking conversion from external sources into the Amazon ecosystem is in beta right now. There's an Amazon Attribution program that Amazon released recently, and it pretty much is broken and doesn't work. It's a great step in the right direction, and you do get some trickle data. The one thing that the data does work with is it does show guaranteed page views, but it doesn't effectively track the conversion. So that's been a big pain point for us as we try and use external ads. So because of that, I'm suggesting just go blow a bunch of money on traffic, whether the consumer purchases or not in the first 2 weeks. It's obviously beneficial if they do. You want them to purchase, but that's not the value of the Facebook and Google ads that I'm advocating. I'm advocating cheap traffic to tell the engine that this listing is getting attention. And that will allow the Amazon ads to kick into high gear. And then your Amazon ads will be where the conversions come from. That's why I'm saying shut those Facebook and Google ads off at day 14 and don't spend another dime on them at all after the product has launched. All right, so let's talk about a checklist that you need to go through when you launch your product. So if you're selling a product, you first need to have a UPC code to get it listed into the ecosystem. If you're not selling that item in physical retail stores, you don't need to register with GS1. I recommend just go buy some UPC codes off eBay. Very cheap to do so. If you are selling an item that is topical or consumable, you will need to use an Amazon barcode in addition to that UPC. And that means you need to print Amazon labels. You can pay Amazon 30 cents a label for them to print it, or you can do it yourself. If you're selling like a widget, a pen, a gadget, an apple slicer, whatever, a wine glass, doesn't matter, you do not need to have Amazon barcodes. However, if your item does not have packaging with a UPC barcode on it, you will then still need an Amazon barcode. So that's the basic, most important thing you have is just get the tracking of the unit and the barcode figured out. So after that, you need to go order your item and then optimize your listing, fill out the title, the bullets, the photos, get the A+ content done. If you don't have a trademark, file a trademark. That is something that My Amazon Guy offers, by the way. Just go to myamazonguy.com and register a trademark with us. We also sell A+ content, $500 a pop. That is really competitive rate for high quality A+ content. And then once you've got all the listing optimization done, you're going to ship your product in to Amazon. You're going to need to get all of your ads set up. When you first load the product into Amazon ecosystem, I highly recommend that you set a launch date in the system. So on the screen now, I'm in the offer section of a listing. So just hit edit on any item and go to offer. And you can scroll down here and you can see when the offer release date is. So one automatically pre-fills in here. What I'm recommending you do is I want you to set that date range out like 60 days in advance of when you really want to go live. Then once the item has fully checked into Amazon, then you can set your launch date for the next day. The best day of the week to launch an item is Sunday or Monday because that's when the best conversion and most traffic occurs on Amazon. So let's say, today is April 23rd, 2020. And let's say I'm just ordering my shipment. I know it's going to be 2 weeks before it's ready to go. So I'm going to set my date out to June 30th. Okay. And this can be edited at any point in time. So let's say I've shipped the item into Amazon, and then I go to the listing and I notice that it says in stock officially May 5th. So let's look at the calendar. We go look, okay, May 5th is a Tuesday, not my most ideal day to launch. I'd rather do it a Sunday or Monday, but I don't want to wait another 6 days. So I'll make May 5th my launch date. And then let's say it would have been, May 8th on a Friday. I definitely would not launch on a Friday. I would go ahead and wait for that Sunday and schedule for that May 10th date. Then start all of your advertising campaigns. You can build them in Amazon before the item is live. You don't need to schedule those campaigns. You can set them up and they will automatically go live the moment the item is live. Now, if you need to adjust your offer release date, you can just come in here and select a different date, no problem, save. And let's say I wanted to launch it immediately today, cool. Just change your release date to today's date. It'll immediately go live in the next 15 minutes. All right, so you've got your item shipped into Amazon at this point. Hopefully by now you've also figured out your pricing strategy. Amazon takes a 33% cut on average across most categories. Some categories are higher than others. And in that 33%, I'm calculating for a 10% advertising cost, 15% referral fee, and the rest is usually made up of logistics and FBA shipping fees. Before you go live, the next thing you need to do is you need to queue up having people ready to make a purchase. Get 10 friends or family members or associates or employees to make a purchase. You cannot ask them to leave a review officially. And quite frankly, if they're logging into the same IP addresses or they're connected with you on Facebook, you should probably actually tell them to not leave a product review. It can flag the listing and cause reviews to be locked. And right around review number 4 or 5 is when the system's going to catch you. So if you're going to live on the dark side or on the edge of the cliff, maybe cap that right around 3 or 4 if you're going to do that. But in general, I only advocate for white hat tactics. Everything I cover in my videos is very above board. And if you want to do any risky things, reviews is typically not the area to take any risks. Amazon has been cracking down on that a lot. However, there's no problem with people placing orders that and really all you're doing with the orders is just training the algorithm that you're going to make a conversion. One of the techniques I like to use is called search, find, buy. And there's a great article and video. I'll link it in my description on search, find, buy. And I'm actually writing that down right now, so I actually remember to put that in there. Search, find, buy is the name of that technique. And if you tell people to search for your item using a keyword and then purchase it, it'll train the algorithm that keyword is important to your listing and to improve your keyword rankings for it. This technique is the best technique on the market right now for training the algorithm for keyword external traffic. It replaces using a super URL. That used to be the previous strategy. The 2019 strategy was the super URL, if you will. So hopefully you've got all of your listing optimization, your enhanced brand content built. You need to make sure you have your keywords set. So go over to your keyword section, fill out your search terms. Make sure this is done prior to your launch. Fill in your target audience, your subject matter, your other attributes. The search terms field is the most critical one to get correct. You need to have 200 words with no duplicates. And generally speaking, you don't need to have any words that are in your title in your search terms. This is the best attribute place to do misspellings and other translations of your item. So like Spanish, for example. In your advertising on Amazon, make sure that you have sponsored products, headline ads, offensive product targeting, defensive product targeting, and all various methods of advertising techniques set up with campaigns ready to go on your launch day. And there are many advertising videos that I've shot that explain each one of those techniques. So subscribe to their channel, type in advertising on the My Amazon Guy channel, and you can see playlists, various advertising techniques that you need to have done. Make sure you've got your Facebook ads, your Google ads all set to launch in the same day. And again, you're not looking for measurability. You're looking for traffic on those external ones. There are many techniques in Amazon, such as Amazon giveaways. This is a technique that probably doesn't work anymore, but it used to be a hot one. We used to do it for our clients, but we don't do it anymore. Lightning deals, you cannot set one up for a launch. So that one's not part of your launch strategy. You have to have previous 3 months of FBA sales history before you can set that up. Similarly, you can't do subscribe and save on launch. You'll have to have 3 months of FBA stability. The next thing to have in place is automated emails. So we like to use Feedback Whiz as our go-to email setup. However, automated emails have had a diminishing return capacity. The future of review generation is Vine, early reviewer program, and using the request a review button out of Seller Central. There are 2 tools on the market today that have a mass request review button in place. They are Feedback Genius and Feedback 5. I believe Feedback Whiz will have this in place sometime by May of 2020. And I am kind of holding out for that because they are my number one preferred email automation tool. So definitely check them out if you don't have an automated email program in place. I'll put a link in my description. The most important thing you do for automated email, though, is to have value added to the consumer. So that first email that goes out, it needs to offer value to the consumer and tell them, hey, here's how to use my product. Here are the cool features. Tell them why your ingredients are cooler than somebody else's. Tell them, the number one reason why your brand made this product and how you came up with it or invented it, whatever it might be. Because in the past, we used to use like a 2-email approach where we do first email offer value, second email request value, and request the review in the second one. Amazon seems to be diminishing capacity to send emails to consumers right now. It's like a 40% opt-out rate as well. So we no longer recommend a 2-email series. So go ahead and request the review right in that first email. And tell them, use your product before you review it or whatever. But the future of requesting reviews is not the email system. Still go through this motion in 2020 just in case. It gives you some additional value. On average, for every 100 orders you get, one person will leave a review unprompted. Prompting them will drastically increase the review counts to 2 out of 100, maybe 3 out of 100 tops. So you really have to blast through a ton of orders to get reviews up. So early reviewer program can get you your first 5 reviews. If you don't sign up by the time you have 5 reviews, you can't access the early reviewer program. Vine is 30 reviews and can be executed at any point up to that 29th review. Vine does not work for every item. The more complicated your item is, the less likely Vine will be a good fit. If the general populace would not be a purchaser or target demographic for you, Vine is not a good fit. And the reason I say this is because if you've got like a men's testosterone supplement, for example, chances are the Vine reviewer won't have enough time to use the product and effectively write the correct review. Many other types of products will run into the same struggles on this. And so if you sell something like an apple slicer where literally anybody can test that, that's a great product for a Vine review. So just be careful on utilizing Vine reviews. They may not be a perfect fit for you. If you have a website built for your items, I would recommend in the first 2 weeks of the launch that you have a buy on Amazon button on it. Also, if you have an email list built, email your consumers and let them know about the item. Give them a discount to go order it. Give them a promo code. Tell them it's launched on Amazon, and for the people that buy it on Amazon, they'll get a discount. Now, a lot of people struggle with this concept. They prefer to send everything to their website. Totally get it, but Amazon 2-week honeymoon period. That's why you're sending the traffic to Amazon specifically instead of the Amazon instead of your regular website, and that's because there's more value to the sale on Amazon in that first 14 days than gaining the customer's information by buying on the website. Additionally, your website has historically already built your customer base. So if you're accessing that base, that email file, so to speak, and you're bringing them into Amazon, they've already been to your site anyway. So if you expose them to Amazon, you might get another sale that you might not otherwise have obtained. Also, they're more likely to convert, and they can help you with your first 2-week honeymoon period exposure. Lastly, there are many other programs you could go check out. I am not a personal advocate of any particular external source or tool that I haven't listed already in this video, but there are literally 100 out there that you could do. There's forums where you can advocate for giveaways. There's a lot of external traffic that you can source and obtain. I don't think that any one of them is an effective strategy over another currently. I've seen a lot of them kind of come and go. They work for a couple months. Amazon cracks down on them. Then they stop working. But if you launch a product and you're not successful, then maybe try and relaunch it and try some of those other activities as well. If you have a particular external traffic strategy that you like, go ahead and comment on the video and explain why you like that one. We love the community dialogue on this question. It's very much a moving target, and there are so many services out there that offer an ability to hack Amazon and get your first sales. But in reality, the Amazon PPC machine is really where money's at, and that's because there's no other platform on the web where you can both advertise and get sales for a product, but also market it. And what I mean by that is you can get cheaper impressions in Amazon than you can anywhere else. And they're good impressions. They're for people who are actually searching for products within the ecosystem. So it's very effective to spend most of your money on Amazon PPC. But to get that Amazon PPC in place, you absolutely have to have some sort of prior training on the algorithm. So Feel free to hire my Amazon guy or reach out to us to get a quote. We can manage catalogs. We can help you with product launches like we covered in today's video. Ask us for a quote on advertising management. We'd be happy to assist you in all of these questions. Subscribe to the channel. Leave a comment on any area you're interested in learning more about. We'll build out more videos. I have already 200 videos on the channel, so there's so much resources out there. We share all our trade secrets. We dive right in on how to do things. We're very actionable on this question. So if you've watched this full video and you like what you've heard, consider hiring us as an expert to join your team, and we'll help you out. My name is Stephen Pope, and this was my Amazon guy.